On this episode of Street Rat Garage, getting the Fiero ready for the 2023 Roadkill Nights. We might have to add some doors. So it's almost that time of year again. 2023 Roadkill Nights is coming to Pontiac, Michigan, and they're going to have it in a different venue this year. But for the last few years, we've been going and trying to take something different. Last year, we took Goose, the Roadkill Maverick. The year before that, we took a Duster, which wound up being on an episode of Roadkill. So maybe you saw that one a couple of years ago. Anyway, this year, we're taking the Roadkill Pontiac Fiero. Now, this car was in the 2019, I think it was 2019, Roadkill, where they went up, or they did the Hot Rod Power Tour, and they traded cars every day. So this was one of the cars that they traded for. There's Goose, they traded for originally, they brought from California, and they traded for this Pontiac Fiero down the line, and they traded for the Belvedere, which you might have seen, I also own. And yeah, so we have 3 Roadkill cars now, this being the latest addition. So this is famous for not having the doors though, but it is not fun to drive without doors. It sits so low, and it just feels like every time you turn right, you're going to fall out on the ground. So what I have done is to purchase this $300 parts car. That's right, just a $300 parts car. We'll take a look around and show you why it only costs $300. It's normally this would be a project car for me, but somebody has already started partying it out, and Fieros just aren't that expensive, and they're not very popular at all. They're coming around, but they are just not there yet. So let's look at this, and I'll show you why I don't feel bad making it a parts car. So this guy has taken a real beating. I am not sure why they decided to take it apart. Probably something happened in this area. I mean, it's what they call a 2M4, which pretty much means it's got a Iron Duke 2.5 in it. These are really good engines, but when they go bad, it's nobody wants to fix them. They got a lot of that crazy fuel injection beginning era times and vacuum lines everywhere, and it's rough. It's rough making these things run right. They usually run good, but when they don't, man, it's a hassle. But there are just parts. What is this? This is an intake. See, they got another intake setting up here, so apparently there was an issue there. Got parts everywhere. There's a distributor cap. Is there a distributor in it? Yeah, there's a distributor in it. For some reason, we got a bunch of parts for the engine. I haven't even went through this, so I don't know what's all here. There's a computer, ECU, PCM, whatever you want to call it. Bolts everywhere. So something happened to this engine. Somebody got into it and decided they didn't want to fix it. See, the tail lights are missing, so somebody bought the tail lights. Inside the car is not any better. Somebody started taking all the interior apart. So the dash is loose. This center console is loose. Actually, this door right here is missing out of the other Fiero. So let's take it over here and set that in here. It's not the same color, but at least we'll have a door. So We'll put that on. What else do we need? Some odd and end things that are missing. What if there's a shifter handle in there somewhere? Anyway, oh, there is a shifter handle. So there's a shifter handle right there. We can use that. See, there's a original computer. So they had some electrical issues, I'm imagining, or just wasn't running right, and they did not know what was going on. Look at all those little screws. There's all the, I'm gonna save those. I'm always needing that. So that's a score. The panel, it had an aftermarket steering wheel. You can tell by this adapter, somebody took that. AC compressor there, but yeah, this is a mess. But what I was most interested in are these doors. The door panels are gone, but driving this thing without any doors is a little unsettling. I mean, it's cool for just popping around the neighborhood, but I have not decided whether will drive this or take the ramp truck over there. I mean, both are an option. I don't know about our tires, so it just depends. There's only like 2 weeks left, so I gotta hurry up and get this in shape so we can make our decision. I am going to start with taking these doors off and making sure we have all the hardware we need to put them on this car. So let's get started. Let's take these doors off and pull some of these parts out and take inventory of what we have. Well, after about an hour digging around on this car, we got most of the parts out of here. And yeah, nothing was bolted down in this car. So everything had already been taken apart, like, I don't know, somebody was gonna sell off each individual part maybe. I mean, nothing's bolted down. The trunk lid, the dashboard, the center console over there. And yeah, this is all the parts we got. The seats weren't bolted in. There's the dash. The seats are in okay shape. This is a older model Fiero. They used to have the speakers right here in the headrest. And I had one. They were loud, and I suppose they moved them out from the headrest because, you know, they could probably be sued for, you know, blowing somebody's eardrums out with those things. I did find some tail lights, so they didn't sell the tail lights, and we might be able to use one of these. We got one that's, it just cracked a little, but not worried about that today. Maybe a later time. The rest of the instrument cluster, we have a well, appears to be, I think this is a motor for the headlights. So our headlights have always been up since I got the car. So I don't know what the deal is there, but maybe we can, again, at a later date, make these headlights function. They're in a permanent up position right now. But anyhow, I didn't really take this console because this console wasn't bolted down either. It was just sort of sitting in there, and it's broken on the ends where somebody just ripped it out. So it's missing this part here, and it was missing the door and these grills right here. So instead of fixing that console, we'll just slap this one right back in there. They took it out apparently to run this CB radio right here. And of course, yeah, they wire nutted these together. People, stop doing that. That is not how this stuff works in an automobile. So what happens when it comes apart like that and vibrations and gets all sparky, and then you start a fire? And that's why we don't use wire nuts on cars. I mean, if you're gonna do this, at least electrical tape it closed or something. Anyway, so we're gonna pull this junk out, put that junk in, and probably, I wonder if this radio works. I never tried it, but it probably works. Leave that in there and put all this junk back together. Hopefully it'll go back together easy. Okay, so doors. Got to get the doors off. Now, good news and bad news on the doors. The doors are only held on by 2 bolts. The bad news is you can only get to one of them. The other ones behind the fender, of course. So I don't know if we have to take the whole fender off, but at least this top part, maybe we can tilt it out and get to that hidden bolt right there. So I'm going to start by taking this fender off, and it's a 10 millimeter. I don't know when exactly we started making all our vehicles metric, but at least in '84 they were metric. So 10 millimeter on that. If you know when we converted all our nuts and bolts over to metric, put that down in the description so I know what bolts to use, what sockets to use on what vehicles. That might not be so hard. Might be able to squeeze in there with a couple more bolts off. I still have to use an open end to get in there to get these bolts out, but definitely a lot easier than trying to squeeze something in between there. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to. So that is the last bolt there. And she comes off like that. And I forgot to disconnect the wiring harness inside, which is right there. Had a flathead here somewhere, and now it's gone. Like, you know, everything just disappears. Well, anything can be a flathead, I guess. Even a Phillips, if you try hard enough. There you go. That was easy enough. Now, take this door over here and see if she fits up. So the fenders on these cars are super light, but for some reason the doors are really heavy. So I'm gonna use this jack to help me get a little bit of lift so we can hold this into place. And they seem to be a little bit front heavy. So balance about just a little bit forward. And then we can jack this thing up and into place. A little bit more. Whoa. This is awkward. That's why it's nice to have somebody help you sometimes. I already unloosened that fender right there. I just took the top bolts out, and the inner fender well is already missing, so didn't have to worry about those bolts. You know, now I just need to slip a few nuts in or bolts in there and see if she's going to close up for us. And let our jack go. And hopefully we lined everything up good enough that it doesn't shut. Okay. What's the problem? Latch just not, there we go. I just didn't have the latch was shut. I must have hit it with my finger when I took it off. So there's a door for the first time in a long time. And it's fairly lined up. I'd say we call that a win. It's probably the fender that's more off. It's a little tight there, a little loose there, but the fender's not bolted down, so yeah, we can adjust that a little bit when we bolt it back together. So we are good. I need to find some spray paint. I don't know what color they used on it. Olive green, and I don't know where they bought it from, so we're just gonna have to match that up the best we can. Okay, so I am just gonna go ahead and rip this door off and toss it on the other side, and then when I'm done, I'll come back and show you how that looks. Yeah, I think it'll be a good thing. I mean, the car is famous for not having any doors, but boy, there's nothing like having a good set of doors to keep you from falling out onto the roadway. And there's the other door, on and secure, and lined up pretty good. I had to take the door striker off the other car too. The door striker was missing. I guess that's why they had this latch here. Probably when it did have a door on it, something happened to the old door striker. Not like it's hard to go get another one, but yeah, it is what it is. But that fixed, I think we're just going to leave this on here because, you know, it looks cool. And, you know, if it accidentally shuts, we'll be trapped inside. But yeah, what do you think? It's not so bad. We'll try to match up this green paint, give it a more uniform look. But I kind of like it with the doors on it. I really like it with the doors off, but when I drive it, I'm really going to like it with the doors on. Now, I'm not going to go overboard with this car, and we're not going to do a whole lot to it, but we will put this, we will get rid of these stupid little screw nut dealios and put that other console in there so we have a regular glove box. That'll be nice. So yeah, what's that wire? I don't know. Oh, that's the antenna. Duh. Okay, let's pull this guy out of here and let's grab this guy. It goes this way. See, it's broken right here. Somebody just ripped that right on out of there. And I don't know what happened to the door, but it's gone now. It has speakers. I don't know if did they move these speakers? Yeah, those are factory speaker holes. So probably a couple years later, they decided putting the speakers, you know, blasting right into your ear was a bad idea and moved them up here. So we don't have that over there. But I don't listen to the radio. I really don't when I'm driving. So I think we'll just go ahead and put that other console in. See, it's missing these side panels that one has. Now, it really matches the accents, the wheels and the gas cap and the trim there. So putting this color console in is it'll match pretty good. So let me toss that in there real quick and let's have a look and see how she fares. Okay, and that took like 20 seconds to put it in. It just slides right in. It's not bolted down. The other one wasn't bolted down. I suppose that there's a couple screws underneath this panel right here that we could screw down, but I don't think we're ready for that. It's all needs to be cleaned up. The OBD2 port, or is that an OBD1? Oh, that's OBD1 port. What year is this car? I think this is an 86 maybe. When they do OBD2, I don't remember that either. Anyway, this is where that port is located. I believe later when they came out with OBD2s, everything had to be like right up underneath the dash here. So probably finding this in a Fiero was a little bit difficult back in the day. But you could get some information off the check engine lights there. Maybe we'll go over how to do that one of these days when we have an issue. Now there was panels here, and I don't know what was here. I need to see pictures. Or if you have a Fiero, tell me what goes here. Was it the window switches that went here? Did they go on both sides? And I don't know. You know, I don't know. I don't know if this had window. I think this had crank windows because I didn't see a wiring harness on the inside here. So we're going to have to make up some switches to roll these windows down. But what goes here? What goes there? And what goes here? I don't know what goes here either. I need pictures. So, and was there something here too? Boy, there's a lot of unanswered questions. We don't have a radio. Unanswered questions, but yep. That may be all we're doing. We could mount this somewhere later. Make sure she starts. There we go. Oh, it died. Why'd it die? There we go. Maybe we ought to do something about that exhaust leak too. Oh, I forgot the shifter handle. Let's take care of that shifter handle so it makes it a little bit easier on the old thumb. All right, let's get at that shifter handle. which should be relatively easy on one of these cars. One of the few things that would be. There's just a little clip right here. We can just pry that out like so and pull. I mean, that's it. That's all you have to do. It's so easy to remove one of these, it's ridiculous. So grab our pin and run back over and stick it in the other car. All right, just repeat the process. Put it down. Let's shift that shifter backwards and get our pin in there like so, and we're done. And we're done. There it goes. Okay, it's snapped into place now. So yeah, that's it. Now we have a shifter. Some of these repairs are super simple, and some of them, not so much. But that's one of the easiest things. So get you some 80s model GM shifters, swaps in, no big deal. Okay, let's just button everything up here. Maybe. There we go. Oops. There's that. Get our trunk lid closed down. I think we were going to take this over to the house. Can you see me? I can't. Okay, there we go. I'm going to take this back to the house, and it needs to be cleaned up and maybe wire in some amenities. Should I? Oh, I got to do window switches. We have to fix that CB. Let's have a CB radio. There's an antenna mount on here, so we got that. Maybe we can fool around with the headlights. I don't know. But look at the tires, make sure the brakes work, all that fun stuff. Think about those tires. Maybe we should replace them. They're not great. Well, I don't know, but it looks pretty good. All right, that should do it. I can't roll the windows down, but I also can't fall out. So let's get this back to the house and get her cleaned up. Okay, so we made it back to the house. Now it's time to pressure wash this thing, get the dirt off, and do something about that door. I went to Lowe's Home Improvement, and I think I got some paint that'll kind of match that. It's going to be close enough because I don't know where that paint came from. So let's hit it with a power washer, get this thing cleaned up, and see how well that paint matches. Okay, so it's all washed up and ready to go, but it's hot outside. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it on in the garage here, and we'll just do a little work here. So it's a heat wave. It's like hot degrees out, so no bueno. What I want to do next is prep the surface for painting. And what I'm going to do is I found this bottle of liquid in the kitchen. I don't know what's in it because it has no label on it, but it smells like soap, soapish. And in order to prep this panel, I'm simply going to wipe it down, and then I'm going to paint right over it. I'm not going to scuff it. I'm not gonna, do any of that stuff because this is the kind of vehicle where it just doesn't matter. Somebody already painted it without doing any prep work to it at all. So in order to make it uniform, we also cannot do any prep work besides cleaning all the dirt off of it. And this is a microfiber towel, and there'll probably be a little bit of lint left behind off of it, but that's fine. It just gives it character. So, yes, and that is what we're gonna do. So it's nice and clean. Let me go get that paint that I bought and see how close that color is. So here's the paint that I found at the old Home Depot, and the cap pretty much matches. I mean, I could see this being the same color before it got kind of faded out, but I mean, how many flat satin greens are there in the world? So that was basically the only can that I found that was even kind of close. So that's what we're going to use. Now, before you go ahead and start spraying on this, you're going to want to mask it off real well. So you're going to want to go into your recycle bin and pull out whatever you can find, basically, and just sort of shove in there. There we go. And we are painting inside the garage, and I do have the door down. So you are going to want to protect yourself because we're painting in a non-ventilated area. So just whatever towel that you can find, just sort of wrap it around your nose and try to hold your breath as well as you can. Okay. Yeah, that's not working at all, the towel. Okay. I'm gonna open the door, I'm gonna finish painting this, and we'll come back and have a look. Okay, so the verdict is in, and yeah, it's about 5 shades darker than the rest of the body panel. I don't know, maybe I should just go ahead and paint the fender, maybe the back quarter. It will probably only take me like one more coat of paint, one more can, just go that way, I don't know. But close enough, right? I mean, I can come in here and paint the trim tan or do all that other fun stuff, but I did get a big run like right there. That was bad. The mirrors, they could use some black, but let's stick to the fundamentals. What do we need to do next? Well, the exhaust is really, really loud, so let's just leave this alone. This is good enough. If we have to go, you know, sort of two-tone, we can go two-tone, no big deal. But exhaust, we need exhaust, and we need to make the windows roll up and down. So that's what is important. So let's go check out this exhaust real quick and see what we have to do here. It's loud. I mean, it's just loud. Well, it is time to check the exhaust. Now, let's pull this back. Actually, let's just turn it around a little bit. Oh, that's loud. Oh, let's spin this guy around. Well, that should be good enough. We'll work out side so we can have a little bit better lighting conditions. But let's jack this up, open up the hatch, and see what is the problem with this exhaust and see if we can quiet it down a little bit. With most of the cars that I have, this is the trunk key. I forgot to check to see if the deck lid from the other Fiero had a lock in it, because it seems like I saw a trunk key on the key ring. Oh, look, here's the antenna that goes on it. Might be broke. Might definitely be broke. So I don't think we can do anything with that, but we have the antenna. Maybe we can drill it out or something, I don't know. What else? Oh, exhaust, that's what we were doing. We'll come in here and let me jack it up and we'll look at the exhaust real quick. Okay, let's slide underneath here and see what we have for an exhaust system. So, well, there is a muffler that obviously isn't working. We got our tailpipe all the way out the back. That's good. Okay. Our exhaust pipe goes all the way till right here, where it has no clamps. And an oversized pipe. That's really long. Why? Okay. Why? 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 I don't know. I don't know why. So, what do we have here? Okay. I got this, which is way too big on both ends. What happened here? Why is this? I mean, what was right there that was so bad that you had to cut it out? I mean, there's even the clamp. Is that an aftermarket piece of straight pipe? I think it is. So, is that a piece welded in? Something, was there a catalytic converter? Oh, okay, yeah, right. Catalytic converter delete, that's what it is. This is an aftermarket part. Catalytic converter must have been right here. That's why there's this big heat shield right here. Okay, I'm understanding now. This stuff I don't understand, but I understand the rest. So let me get a tape measure, measure that out. Then we'll go to the parts store and get not such a big piece. Stick it in there, clamp it down, and we should be good to go. Huh, that is not going to be hard at all. But apparently for somebody, it was incredibly difficult. Okay, I'm back with the part. I couldn't find exactly what I want, but I got one that's big enough to slide over and one end and slide into the other end. So that'll work just nicely. I don't think we have to worry about any exhaust restrictions with a 2.5 liter. So let's toss this in there real quick and listen, and it should sound a whole lot better. Okay, let's get back under here and do our thing. So where are we at here? Right about there. Let's see. Let's slide this side in like so and get us a clamp here. I'm just going to reuse the old clamps. Oop, lost that one. Get on there. Reuse that guy. And this one here, it's a little bit big, but it should work fine. Clamp these two together like so and so. And yeah, hold still. Something in that order. That should do it. I'm going to tighten this down real quick and then we'll listen to it. It's going to sound a lot better now. There we go. Nice and tight. Now, when I crawled underneath of here, I was looking at the brake rotor and I noticed it was rusty. And then I looked again and I noticed there was no caliper. There's the line. There's where the caliper should go. It is missing. And yeah, it's also missing Can you see it over there? It's missing on the other side too. We have no rear brakes. I mean, I noticed it push a little bit when we took it through the field in the last video, but did not realize there was no calipers on here. Wonder why. Were they taken off on purpose? But the line is not, doesn't appear to be blocked off. So how's that work? I don't know. Oh, we're running out of time. We don't have time for this. So we're either going to just drive it like that or trailer it. One of the two. Okay, well, let's start this up and see what it sounds like now. Okay, here we go. Maybe. Well, definitely sounds a lot better. There is still a bit of an exhaust leak somewhere. I don't see it. Probably at the manifold, but way quieter. Twice as quiet as what it was before. So that is a win. Now we need to roll down the windows because it is hot. Now it's time to get the windows down. On the Fiero and probably most of the GMs, I don't know if they're all the same or not, but what we have here is the window motor. There's a blue and a brown that goes through here. So these didn't, as you know, these didn't come off of this car, and there's no window wiring. So this is the inlet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the, what is that? The ground wire. Yeah, that's negative. So basically this is a blue, this is a brown. This is positive, and this is positive. That's a negative there. So basically all I have to do is put one to ground and one to positive. These two wires right here. And it either goes up or it goes down. So all I have to do is reverse the positive and negative on that, and it would go right back up. So that will solve our window issue. So basically all that I'm going to do is pretty much just leave this down. So I'm going to roll that one down. If I get some time, which I probably won't, I can make a switch, a two-way switch, to toggle these up and down, but I don't know if I'm gonna have the time. So roll these windows down and hope it doesn't rain. That's basically it. Well, that's both windows successfully down. I guess there's nothing left to do but go for a test drive. All right, we are super low on gas, so I'm just gonna whip it around to the old gas station and fuel up a little bit. I have not really taken this out on the road much at all, just like around the block once. This is basically gonna be just a test, just to see how well it does or how well it doesn't do. It definitely does fine off-road. And you know, that's one of my concerns. Has it been beaten too much running an off-road mode? Now the engine, that Fortec, they always make a little bit of a chattering noise. Just about every one I've had, unless they're like brand new, they just make a sound. But usually at idle. And I'm not hearing anything off idle while it accelerates, so I think we're good. The car has 155,000 miles on it, so I imagine just about all of those are road miles. I seriously doubt if it has, you know, more than 100 off-road miles on it, which still could be a lot. But let's go get this thing some gasoline. Okay, we are almost to the gas station, and it's actually doing pretty well. It's not great on steering, and the shifting seems just a bit sloppy. And the brakes, of course, the brakes are about 40% down. You know, basically because we're missing the back brakes. Front do 60%. The back do what, like 40%? So we just need to take it easy a little bit. Now, I do have rotors. I should have rotors on that other car. Or not rotors, calipers. So maybe we should go up there. But then again, we don't have time. We just don't have time for all this. So run it like you brung it. I'm gonna pull in the gas station, fill it up, get us a little gas and spin her around. Well, I just left the gas station. I put $5 in, and it's showing 3/4 of a tank of gas. So that's incorrect. But at least now we know that when it's showing just below 3/4 of a tank, that we only have 5 gallons left, and we probably should stop at that point and get some more fuel. So when you have a new car, that's a good test. Don't just go to the gas station and fill it up like, you know, most of you would do that anyway. But yeah, fill it up just a little bit at a time, so you know how the gas gauge reads, and you know where it's gonna sit and when you're gonna be in trouble. Well, let's tool around a little bit and get a feel for this. Make sure it doesn't overheat or do any crazy things. Well, it runs surprisingly well. 2.5 liter Iron Duke engine. You can't kill it. I would say that is good enough to get us to Roadkill Nights. I still have not decided whether we want to tow it up there or risk driving it 5 hours without any AC up to Pontiac, Michigan. I guess if it's going to be hot, we should just tow it and ride in the AC. But I don't know. I'm going to drive it around for the next few days and get a feel for it, get it up to some real highway speeds and see how it does. And think about these front tires because they're old. And I mean, I guess we could put a spare up there. I don't know. Anyway, worst case scenario, we just tow it up there and drive it around Pontiac, Michigan, and that'll be fine. So I think we're done here. We got the windows down. We got the exhaust fixed. We know we don't have any rear brakes. It runs good. Doors are on it. They're painted. They almost match. That's going to wrap it up. So until next time.